I've always believed that the universe doesn't care about people like me. Not in a tragic way, just realistically. I wasn't a soldier, a scientist, or an explorer. I didn't chase signals from deep space or dream about alien civilizations. I lived on the edge of a forgotten colony world called Errand 9, a place so far from Earth's core systems that most people didn't even know it existed. Errand 9 wasn't beautiful. It was dust, rust, and survival. The sky was always a dull orange, thick with particles from the mining operations that never stopped. The cities, if you could call them that, were clusters of metal structures bolted together over decades, barely holding against the constant winds. People didn't come here to live. They came here because they had nowhere else to go. I was one of them. I worked as a salvager, picking through the graveyards of broken ships that littered the outer dunes. Crashed freighters, abandoned transports, the occasional military wreck, anything that could be stripped, sold, or repurposed. Most days it was just me, the wind, and the sound of metal groaning under the heat. That's how I found her. It was supposed to be a routine job. A distress beacon had been detected about 20 kilometers out. Weak, intermittent, probably an old emergency signal looping on a dead ship. Those were the best kind. No competition, no surprises. At least, that's what I thought. The wreck was half buried in the sand, its hull scorched and twisted like it had fallen from orbit without any control. The markings were unfamiliar, sleek, curved designs instead of the blocky industrial builds I was used to. Alien. That should have been my first warning. I almost turned back. Alien tech was dangerous, unpredictable, and often heavily monitored by the authorities. But something about the signal. It wasn't just a loop. It was pulsing, deliberate, like someone was trying to be found. I approached cautiously, cutting through the warped hull with my plasma torch. The metal resisted at first, then gave way with a hiss, releasing a rush of stale, cold air. Inside it was dark. Too dark. My headlamp flickered on, casting narrow beams across a corridor that looked more grown than built. The walls had a smooth, organic texture, faintly glowing beneath the dust. I moved slowly, every step echoing in the silence. Then I heard it. A sound. Faint. Weak. A voice. I followed it deeper into the wreck, past collapsed sections and broken panels, until I reached what must have once been the central chamber. And that's where I saw her. She was trapped, pinned beneath a fallen structure, her body partially obscured by debris. At first I thought she was human. Then she moved. Her eyes opened, bright, silver, reflecting the light in a way no human eyes ever could. And just like that, I knew. Alien. She tried to speak, but her voice came out strained, barely more than a whisper. Help. I hesitated. Every instinct told me to leave. This wasn't my problem. This wasn't even my species. But something about her, the way she looked at me, not with fear, but with quiet desperation. I couldn't walk away. Don't move, I said, stepping closer. I've got you. It took nearly 20 minutes to free her. The debris was heavier than it looked, and my tools weren't made for delicate work. But eventually, with enough effort, I managed to lift the last piece off her. She collapsed forward. I caught her before she hit the ground. Up close, she looked even more different. Her skin had a faint, pale glow, like moonlight underwater. Her hair, long, dark, almost black, flowed around her in soft strands despite the still air. And her features, they were too perfect, too symmetrical. Like she wasn't just born, she was designed. Can you stand? I asked. She nodded weakly. I helped her up, supporting most of her weight as we made our way back through the wreck. Why are you here? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked at me with something unreadable in her eyes. I was taken, she said finally. Taken. She nodded. Prisoners. Raiders. They attacked my vessel. I frowned. Raiders were common in this sector, ruthless scavengers who didn't care what they took or who they hurt. Are they still here? No, she said softly. They left me to die. Something about that didn't sit right. Raiders didn't leave survivors. But I didn't press. Come on, I said. Let's get you out of here. I brought her back to my shelter, a small reinforced unit on the outskirts of the colony. It wasn't much, but it was safe. At least, as safe as Erin 9 ever got. I patched her wounds as best I could. Her physiology was different, but close enough that basic treatment worked. She healed faster than any human I'd ever seen. Too fast. By the second day, she was already walking on her own. By the third, she was standing outside, staring up at the sky. You're not from around here, I said, stepping beside her. She glanced at me. No, she said. Got a name? She hesitated. Then, Lyra. I nodded. Well, Lyra, you're lucky I found you. Most people out here wouldn't have bothered. I know, she said quietly. There was something in her tone, something that made me look at her more closely. You planning to leave? I asked. Yes, she said. Soon. Got somewhere to go? She looked back at the sky. They'll come. I raised an eyebrow. Who's they? She didn't answer. The next few days were strange. Lyra didn't talk much, but when she did, it was like she was choosing every word carefully. She asked questions about Earth, about humans, about how we lived. Simple things. But the way she listened, it was like it all mattered, like she was memorizing it. One night as we sat in silence, I finally asked, "Why didn't the raiders kill you?" She froze. For a moment I thought she wouldn't answer. Then she said, "They couldn't." I frowned. What does that mean? She looked at me, and for the first time I saw something behind her calm exterior. Power. They tried, she said, but there are protections. Protections? She nodded. Old ones. That was the moment I realized. Lyra wasn't just some random survivor. There was something bigger going on. I just didn't know how big. It happened at dawn. The sky changed first. The usual orange haze began to darken, not gradually, but all at once, like something was blocking the light itself. People started coming out of their homes, looking up in confusion. Then the ships appeared. Dozens of them. No, hundreds. Massive, sleek warships descending silently from the clouds. Their hulls gleamed like polished obsidian, reflecting the dying light of the sky. The entire colony froze. No one moved. No one spoke. We all just stared. What the hell? I whispered. Beside me, Lyra stood perfectly still. They've come, she said. My stomach dropped. You knew this would happen. Yes. I turned to her. Who are they? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stepped forward, her posture straightening, her presence changing. The quiet, fragile woman I had rescued was gone. In her place stood someone else. Someone powerful. Someone important. They are my people, she said. And then the largest ship descended. A beam of light shot down, connecting it to the ground just a few meters away from us. Figures emerged, tall, armored, their movements precise, disciplined. Soldiers. They approached slowly, then, without hesitation, they knelt, all of them, in front of her. The entire colony watched in stunned silence. I felt my heart pounding in my chest. Lyra, I said. She turned to me, but now there was no hesitation in her eyes, no uncertainty, only truth. My name is not Lyra, she said. A pause. I am Lyra Valentari, heir to the celestial throne of the Aetheri Dominion. The words hit like a shock wave. I stared at her, unable to process what I was hearing. Your royalty? She held my gaze. Yes. My mind raced, trying to piece everything together. The ship, the raiders, the way she carried herself. It all made sense now. I didn't know, I said. I know, she replied softly. The commander of the soldiers stepped forward, bowing his head.
Your Highness, he said, we have searched every system. We feared you were lost.
I am not, Lyra said. His gaze shifted to me. And this one? I felt a chill run through me. Lyra stepped between us. He saved my life. The commander studied me for a moment. Then he nodded. You have our gratitude. Gratitude? From an alien war fleet? I didn't know how to respond. Your Highness, the commander continued, the Council awaits your return. The situation has worsened. Lyra's expression hardened. I understand. She turned to me. For a moment the royal mask slipped, and I saw the same person I had met in that wreck. I have to go, she said. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I said. I figured. There was a silence between us. Then she stepped closer. You changed my fate, she said quietly. I won't forget that. I tried to smile. Just doing what anyone would have done. She shook her head. No, she said. You did what others wouldn't. Before I could respond, she reached out and placed her hand on my chest. A warmth spread through me. Familiar, strange, important. What is that? I asked. A mark, she said. A connection. To what? She smiled faintly. To me. The fleet left as suddenly as it had arrived. The sky cleared, the dust settled, and just like that, they were gone. The colony returned to normal, but nothing felt the same. Not for me. Days passed, then weeks. I tried to go back to my old life, salvaging, surviving. For a while it worked, until the dreams started. Visions of distant stars, of cities I had never seen, of her, always her, calling me. And then, one night, the mark on my chest began to glow. I looked up at the sky, and I knew. They were coming back. I wasn't just a salvager anymore, and she wasn't just a stranger I had saved. I didn't know what role I was about to play in her world, but one thing was certain. The moment I freed that ordinary woman, I stepped into something far bigger than myself. And this time, I was ready.